We'll now call the October 26, 2020 Abilene City Commission regular meeting to order. Roll call.
Vice Mayor Ryan.
Here.
Commissioner Marshall. Here. Commissioner Schaefer.
Here.
Commissioner Witt.
Here.
Mayor Osterman's absent. Roll call's complete.
Stand for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first item, we have the consent agenda.
Commissioner Ryan, I move that we approve the consent agenda as written.
This is Commissioner Witt. I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Where are we at? Okay. Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Witt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan, yes. So approved. I don't have to call for Chris, do I? Or for the okay, just want to make sure. Okay. Up next, we have public comments and communications. Persons who wish to address City Commission may do so when called upon by the mayor. Do we have any public comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the Arbor Day proclamation. Okay. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees, and whereas this holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the vitality and beauty of our community, and provide an inviting environment for visitors, and whereas the city of Abilene has been recognized as a Tree City USA for 28 years by the National Arbor Day Foundation and desires to continue tree planting and care of its trees. Now therefore, I, Brandon Ryan, Vice Mayor of the City of Abilene, Kansas, with the City Council, do hereby proclaim October 30th, 2020 as Arbor Day in the City of Abilene and urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. In testimony whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the great seal of the City of Abilene, Kansas, this 26th day of October 2020. Hard to read with a mask on.
Yes, it is.
Okay, next up, we've got public hearing to consider a property tax abatement application from DB Nibs LLC, Don's Tire. Public hearing is now open. Do we have anyone present in the room that would like to speak on the matter?
Yeah, Chuck Scott with Dickinson County Economic Development Corporation. You should have a packet letter that we had prepared as well regarding the application and the cost-benefit analysis. I know you guys have heard from Mr. Nevilsek before, but he is here as well. And if there's any questions that you guys need, we'd be glad to answer those during the public hearing.
I don't have any questions.
No.
Anybody else? There's a mic. Okay. Okay, hearing no further comments, I will close the public hearing. Okay. We'll move on to item 10. Consider resolution number 102620-1, a resolution of the City of Abilene, Kansas, making certain findings of fact as required by KSA 79-251, as amended with respect to a property tax exemption to be granted to DB Nibs LLC for certain improvements to real property located at 714 South Buckeye Avenue, Abilene, Kansas, and providing certain terms and conditions.
Commissioner Ryan, this is Commissioner Schaefer. I move that we approve resolution number 10262-1.
Commissioner Marshall, I will second.
Have a motion and a second. We'll now move to roll call vote. Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Witt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan, yes. Commissioner Marshall.
Yes.
It is so approved. Move on to item number 11, consider ordinance number 20-3391, an ordinance exempting certain property owned by DB Nibs LLC located at 714 South Buckeye Avenue, Abilene, Kansas, from ad valorem taxation.
This is Commissioner Marshall. I do have questions on this item. I understand the property tax abatement, but what's the ad valorem tax on? Who wants to answer that?
This is Aaron Martin, City Attorney. So the ad valorem tax is simply a more formal reference to real estate taxes that are imposed on the subject real estate. Ad valorem is a reference to the fact that the taxation is tied to the value of the real estate as determined by the county. So we're talking about the same thing by use of that term.
Why do we need two then, ad valorem and, well, one's a property tax abatement, but the other one's a property tax abatement?
Sure. So the two items before you today, you have a resolution and an ordinance that need to be approved following the public hearing. All of this is guided by the Kansas statute, which ties back to the Kansas Constitution. The statute says that following the public hearing, we must adopt a resolution making certain findings of fact. And then the Kansas Constitution indicates that if you're a county, you adopt a resolution, and if you're a city, you adopt an ordinance to actually exempt the property from ad valorem tax. So this is consistent with the previous item, and it's just the second of two required actions to implement the exemption.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was familiar with ad valorem on equipment, but not in this
Sure.
situation. Thank you.
Commissioner Ryan, this is Commissioner Schaefer. I move that we approve ordinance number 20-3391.
This is Commissioner Witt. I second the motion.
Okay, the motion has been moved and seconded. Move to roll call vote. Commissioner Witt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan, yes. Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
Okay, it has been approved. Move on to item 12, consider ordinance number 20-3392, an ordinance amending the zoning regulations for the city of Abilene, Kansas, to add a new section 20-14 concerning the designation and regulation of critical drainage areas within the city of Abilene, Kansas.
This is Jane Foltz, City Manager. And again, this is what we talked about last Monday at our study session. And this is an addition to our zoning code. And this will help create those drainage zones within our community. And this has gone before the Planning Commission and is now before you to be adopted.
This is Commissioner Marshall. I move for the approval of ordinance amending the zoning regulations for the city of Abilene, Kansas to add a new section 20-14 concerning the designation and regulation of critical drainage areas within the city of Abilene, Kansas.
This is Commissioner Witt. I second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. I will move to roll call vote. Commissioner Ryan, yes. Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Witt.
Yes.
It has been approved. We will then move to consider ordinance number 20-3393, an ordinance amending section 27-401 of the zoning regulations for the city of Abilene, Kansas concerning required message hold times for electronic message center signs within the city of Abilene, Kansas.
And again, this is Jane Foltz, City Manager. And this also is an amendment to the current zoning code to do with electronic media centers. And those are the signs that bring messages into our community. I think we figured out we had 8 of those in our community. And what this does is it takes that 15-second rule that was previously stated and changes that to a minimum of 3 seconds. And as we talked about at our study session last Monday, the U.S. Department of Transportation Federal Highway Administration found that there was no identifiable relation between electronic media signs and car crashes. It was researched in their review of potential safety effects of electronic billboards on driver attention and distraction, and that was a point of contention. You know, how did this affect our drivers? And so the Planning Commission did review this text amendment at their October 6, 2020 meeting and voted to recommend this to come before you, the City Commission, to be approved.
This is Commissioner Witt. Thanks for the summary, City Manager Foltz. I motion that we approve ordinance number 20-3393.
This is Commissioner Marshall. I will second Commissioner Witt's motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Go to roll call vote. Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Witt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan, yes. It has been approved. All right, next item, consider bids for the Northeast Drainage Project.
Again, it's Jane Foltz, City Manager. And as we talked about last Monday, we did receive 7 bids for our Northeast Drainage Detention Pond. It is recommended by staff that we award the bid to Prairie Landworks, Inc., and they are out of McPherson. And this will be paid for through the Stormwater Fund, which had a balance at the end of the third quarter of $616,453. So there is money to fund this project. This has been a work in progress for probably more years than we can remember, but we're glad to see a bid that can get the work done properly for us. That's all I have.
Commissioner Ryan, this is Commissioner Marshall. I move that we can award the bid to Prairie Land Work, Inc. out of McPherson, Kansas for the Northeast Drainage Project.
This is Commissioner Witt. I second the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, and something I've forgotten the whole meeting. Do we have any further comments?
We would have
Might as
stopped
well
you.
remember on the last item, right?
That's all right.
All right, hearing none, we'll move into roll call vote. Commissioner Schaefer,
Yes.
Commissioner Witt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan, yes. Commissioner Marshall.
Yes.
It has been approved. Okay, next item, we have city manager reports.
Thank you. Jane Foltz, City Manager. We want to say congratulations to Bob Sims, Fire Chief, who has announced he will be retiring on January 1, 2021. After 40 years of service to the City of Abilene, with nearly 20 of those years as Fire Chief, we appreciate the dedication that Bob has given to this city. We will be planning an open house sometime in early December, and we will begin the process of finding our next Fire Chief for the City of Abilene immediately. Also, 8th Street is officially opened. Last Friday morning was windy and chilly, and I want to thank everyone who came out to help get that ribbon cut. And the Planning Commission will be meeting next week on Wednesday, November the 4th. They have some things coming before them, and you will probably see them before long. That's all I have.
All righty, thank you. All right, I will now consider a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Commissioner Marshall.
This is Commissioner Witt. I second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any further comment? Hearing none, we'll move to roll call vote. Commissioner Witt,
Yes.
Commissioner Ryan, yes. Commissioner Marshall,
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer.
Yes.
It has been approved.